Hello, we'll be doing a deep stretch today. We're going to be on the floor in a kneeling position, in a seated position, and standing for our practice. So have your props nearby, a strap, 2 blocks, and at least 1 cushion. Also a bolster if you have it. We're going to be starting on our backs, lying down. So if you would like to start with your little pyramid of 2 blocks in a T position at the top of your mat, a large cushion or bolster, and then if you have a large bolster, you'll need a cushion right here at the very base for your backside to sit on. We're going to be lying down in this position, letting the front of the shoulders open and relax out to the side. If you need an extra pillow underneath the head right here, you can add that in to be comfortable. We want to be able to relax thoroughly for our breath work. Long, deep breaths flowing in and out of the body. Come right into your 3-part breath, filling the belly like a big balloon and letting it rise up through the ribs, the heart center, up to the upper chest and collarbones. And then exhaling all the way out, reversing the direction. The top releases first and goes all the way down to the belly, which squeezes in last. Follow that flow of breath in and out a few times. And then we'll add a little sip of breath at the top. So you'll be sipping breath in through your mouth like you're sipping through a straw. And at the end of the exhalation, you'll also be puffing the last of the breath out like you're whistling. Filling up with your long breath at the top. Sip in more. Pause for a few seconds. Feel that fullness and then release. Empty out completely, hugging the abdominal muscles in, pulling up the pelvic floor like a Kegel exercise, hollowing out the belly and pushing out all the air. And follow in this way for 3 rounds of breath. Feel the difference between these 2 places. These little pauses between the breath. One in the fullness, like life itself. One in the emptiness, hollowed out into the void. And notice your body's reaction to those places. Is one easier to hold than the other? Is one more natural for your body? They're much like life and death. Are you comfortable in the emptiness or in the fullness? Once you exhale your 3rd round, drop the knees a little bit side to side, letting the knees land on the floor or move towards the floor. Continue with your deep breath. Pause in the center, and we're going to take that deep breath into some movement. So exhale as you reach, inhale as you reach out, exhale as you pull in. Warming up the knee joint, the hip joint. Pausing next time your knee comes in towards your chest. Go ahead and squeeze it in, straighten your other leg out along the floor. Go ahead and bend and straighten the leg up towards the ceiling, sole of the foot reaching up like it's going to touch the ceiling. And then hold that there, circle the ankle 3 times in each direction. And point and flex the toes. Great, and then walk your hands a little bit closer if you can. If you need a strap, you could interlace the sole, or release the sole of the foot with the strap and hold here. Take 3 deep breaths, focusing on full exhalation. In that exhalation, see if there maybe is created a little more space for the stretch. Maybe pulling the leg a little closer to you on each exhalation. And then seeing what happens on your inhalation as you expand. Go ahead and slowly release the leg, bring it back down to the floor, lengthening out. Other side warms up. Knee to chest, exhale in, inhale out. I'm going to keep my foot hovering above the floor as I do this so that I'm getting a little more work in the leg. Holding the knee in towards the chest, wind relieving. Squeezing that thigh to belly, trying to press out any tension. Stretching the back side of the body. Extend that stretch as you bend and straighten the knee, foot reaching to the sky. And holding that leg up, go ahead and circle the ankle. Each direction, and then point and flex. We want to make sure all the joints are warmed up before we go to our kneeling and standing practice. And then walk your hands up the back of the leg. 3 deep breaths. This time focus on the inhalation. See how fully you can get. And each time as you release that fullness of breath, see if the leg will come a little closer to you. See what sensations you can find in that leg, and then slowly release it back to the ground. Bend the knees, soles of the feet on the floor, and drop the hips side to side again. Notice if you feel a difference. Good, knees come to center. Walk the feet out a little wider, let the knees drop onto each other. Squeeze the inner thighs, and let's curl the pelvis up and down. So just a little tiny lift here. Squeezing inner thighs and lifting the glutes in and up. Good. And hold that position, squeezing in and up. Feel how the belly naturally hollows out here when you do that. You might even be able to put your fingertips underneath the rib cage here and give a little bit of massage along that lower margin of the ribs. Good. Let the hips come back down. Legs can stay here or they can straighten out. Let's circle the shoulders. Fingertips resting on top of the shoulders. Elbows coming together and reaching out all the way around. Good, and extend the arms out to the side. And we're going to slowly roll off our cushion onto our side. Come to a seated position. You may prop with a pillow. Set your blocks aside. Have them ready for later in practice. And from your seated position, it could be cross-legged, or it could be your knees on your knees, or it could be sitting on a block. From this position, let's continue the warm-up of our wrists, side to side, pressing the wrists in a figure 8 motion. Switch and go the other direction. That one feels a little less natural. You might have to think about it for a little bit. And palms press forward, inhale up. Good. Exhale, grow tall. Let the hands rest on top of the head for just a moment. Palms still facing up, and hug the shoulder blades down the back. Grow tall through the front, the chest opening. And then reach your arms down by your side. Have them come to the floor. Bring your hands to the floor behind you and walk your hands as close together as you can get them. Then bring the soles of the feet onto the floor. And again, we'll rock the hips side to side. You might rock off your pillow, and that's fine. We're going to let the hips and hands walk away from each other so that we're stretching the front of the shoulder, we're stretching the side of the waist and the hip joint. Once you come a good distance in front of your cushion, then bend one elbow, but try and keep your heart and chest lifting. Feel the front of the shoulder opening. And the other side, bend the other elbow, straighten the first, and try and keep your chest lifted. Now take a deep breath, straighten both arms, and then try and bend both. Good. Feel that front of the shoulder opening. Good. Walk your hands forward, drop your knees to one side, and sit back up on your cushion. We're going to do a little twist here, so reach your front arm around back behind you. Feel that twist through the spine. And last twist, come back to center, switch over to the other side. So as you twist, you might notice that your hip lifts up and comes around with you, and then push it back down into the floor. And back through center, crossing legs one more time. Let's go side to side, open the side of waist. Inhale the arm up, exhale over. After a full breath, inhale and switch sides. So we're moving a little more quickly, getting a nice flow with the breath. Inhale through center, exhale to each side. And then arms come into the center, hands reach behind the back, interlace the fingers, press the shoulders back and away, trying to make some little circles. Squeezing out tension with these rotations. And then press the palms together if you can. Lift the arms away from your back, but also lift the chest. Good, release the arms, and we're going to come into our table position from here. So remove your cushion, keep your blocks handy as we'll be needing those, and come to a table position in the center of your mat. Curl your right toes under as you straighten your right leg, and press back to get a nice stretch through the calf. If you need more leverage, you could lift the left knee off the floor so you get more weight pressing back into that calf. Take a few deep breaths here. Feel the arms working to strengthen in this position. They're strengthening for their plank. And then switch legs. Left toes curl under, press back. Feel that in the back of the leg, especially from knee downward. And then press your weight back a little more by lifting the right knee to get a deeper stretch if you need it. Knees back to the floor. Pause for a moment and sit back into child. We're going to go between this child position and we're going to come forward into a mini plank position. So you'll lift up through table. This is your inhale. You'll come forward to this plank position. From knees through hips, through shoulders, through crown of the head, it's one straight line. That's your half plank. And then come back through child. Inhale through center each time, exhale forward or back. So from this position, it's mini plank, we're going to try and push the hips a little farther forward so that we're coming towards an upward facing dog. That requires a back bend. So we're just coming up to your edge and then moving away from it. Coming up to the edge, moving away from it. Good. And then we're going to come into our little plank position and we're going to do a few half push-ups here. So halfway down, squeeze the elbows right into the side and come back up. We're not going to come all the way to the floor. This is how we build strength, but keep the shoulders open. Good, and then walk the hips back, knees go a little farther back. We're going to come into puppy stretch, so your heart is going to melt down towards the floor. Either your forehead can land on the floor, or your chin can land on the floor. And take some deep breaths, relax the shoulders, try and roll them out to the side. Expand the space of the chest and heart. Smooth out your breath. Press the shins down into the floor so lower body and upper body are both active, squeezing together into the center of your body. And then lift your torso up, walk your hands back so you're in your table position. Good, go ahead and sit the hips back. We're going to come up onto the knees. We're going to do a round of Kapalabhati breath here. So if you would like to sit on a block or a cushion between your legs, you can do that. We won't be here too long, but make sure you're comfortable. So strong expulsions from the lower abdomen to bring up heat, build the metabolism, clear the lungs and sinuses, clear the head, clear the mind. Ready? Just like as we were doing in our deep breathing, we're pulling the pelvis in and up here. And last exhalation, take a long deep breath in. Push all the breath out, empty out completely. You can hinge forward if that helps you. Hold the breath out and sit back up, growing tall. Squeeze the inner thighs, pull in the belly, everything hollowed out inside, holding the breath out. When you can't hold anymore, then take a long breath in, expand and fill up with breath. When you come to the top, just drop your chin down to your chest to help you hold and pull up the pelvic floor. Keep the belly soft so the energy can move around in here and open up the body. When you can't hold the breath anymore, release the chin, relax the face and jaw, and sigh it out. We're going to reach side to side so fingertips can come to the floor, or if you can't reach, you can come to a block. And arch over to the side and hold for a moment. Take a nice deep breath. And come back up, switch sides, reach the hand down to the floor or the block. You're going side to side to warm up the body. Now is your chance to give it some time to lengthen into that stretch. We're going to go forward and back with the spine here. So inhale the arms up and release the fingers and let the elbows press out to the side as the hands rest on the head. And then curl that chin down, elbows down, curl into a little ball. And inhale up. Expanding like a flower opening in the sun. Exhale, curling back in. Opening up the spine with this extension and flexion. And monitoring how much you need to exert here. Come just to the place where you first feel the stretch, no pressure on the spine. And pause. We're going to come up to standing and do that exact same movement. So as you come up, find a standing position in mountain where the feet are hip width apart. Imagine there's a block right between your feet so the insides of the feet are parallel. Spread your toes wide. Feet sink down into the earth like they're melting into some springtime mud. Knees are slightly bent, so there's give in the body. Tailbones tucked under, belly naturally comes in. You're going to inhale the arms up out to the side. Let's do 3 sun breaths before we curl into our little ball. Timing the length of the breath with the length of the movement. And then hands to the top of the head. Here we're going to curl the chin and elbows just like before, but we're also going to bend the knees, and we're going to try and bring elbows to knees, hugging the navel into the spine. Find a little ball here, and then inhale, slowly open up, smooth, graceful movements. Press your elbows back and look skyward. Full breath in here, and then exhale and curl. So full body movement. Everything should be warming up, starting to move. And last time, pause here, release the arms. Go ahead and step into a wide V. And this is where we want to have your blocks. So your blocks are going to be right down in front of you, and they're going to be extensions of your arm. So as you fold forward, you're going to come down to a flat back and reach for these blocks so they can be your support. And then from here, if you can fold forward and round over, that's great. You can lengthen the spine down and keep the legs strong, quadriceps pulling up, but head relaxes, shoulders relax. Then lift back up to that flat back. We're going to take the blocks and use them as extensions of our hand to walk over to the side. So we're getting a little side stretch, but make sure the hips stay steady where they are. Inner thighs squeezing to keep you balanced there. Press into the outer blades of the feet, but hug the inner thighs up. And then if you're comfortable here, you can reach down for the floor or for your leg and round over, getting a deep side stretch. Full deep breaths, telling your body it's safe to relax. And then come back up to your blocks and walk all the way back to center, over to the other side. Find that perfect place where you can keep the hips just where they are. Torso lengthens out to the side. And if and when you feel ready, you can reach down for the leg or for the floor and pull yourself into a deep stretch. The hamstring is stretching here, but so is the side of the waist. So we're the QL muscle, big muscle on the sides of the low back. Walk hands back towards center. Pause here. Turn the toes out 45 degrees so they're pointing at the corners of the room, and bend the knees. Walk one hand up on top of each knee. Straighten the elbows. Lock the elbows here. We'll do a little twist for the spine, dropping one shoulder forward and the other. So legs are working, but the upper body with the locked arms is being supported. So it's not quite as much work as it would be. Good. Now come all the way up to standing, squeezing inner thighs like they're squeezing and holding a ball. Float the arms out to the side. Turn the palms up, T position. Arms press back behind you and then reach out to the side walls. This is five-pointed star, so you're pressing down through the soles of the feet, out through the arms, extending as much as you can through those limbs, and then reaching up through the crown of the head, trying to grow tall. Keep this position, but turn the palms over. So shoulder blades are still pulling back behind you. Turn the right toes forward and turn the left toes a little farther out to the side. Bend the knee and now walk the feet a little farther apart into your warrior two position. Keep your hips like headlights pointing straight forward. And then float the arms back up. Look over that front arm, but look and make sure that your back arm and front arm are both shoulder height. Good. In this balanced place, then we're just going to drop the arms down and reach forward and back. So down to one side and down to the other side. And we're just going to warm up the upper body here until we can hold one of these two postures. Good. Keep the inner thighs pressing in, outer blades of the feet pressing down. And next time you come back down the back leg, reach the front arm up and grow tall. Hold for a nice deep breath. Then reach forward and maybe drop your elbow down onto that front knee. Back arm can come up to a T position, or it can come right over by the ear. Lengthening into what we call lateral angle, where there's one straight line from the back heel, through the hip, through the shoulder, through the fingertips. Good. From lateral angle, you can bring that top arm down, and we're just going to try testing out straightening that front knee. If you can't do this, too much of a bend, you can always bring your hand here to support. Or you could bring a block in front of you and let your hand rest on the block. So we're trying to get a nice deep stretch in that front leg. This is called triangle. Both sides of the torso are lengthened here, long sides. Arm can come up to T position. Both legs are straight here. Press into the outer blades, hug the inner thighs, and try and grow tall. Beautiful. Bend that front knee and pull yourself back to center. Good. Turn the toes. They're both facing forward again. And let's heel toe together and just shake it out before we do the other side. So wiggling, shaking. Wonderful. Have your blocks handy again. We're going to come through that from our wide-legged position. So wide-legged position. Turn the left toes now. No, right toes now. Sorry, out to face the side wall. Your back foot, your left foot, can turn in just slightly, just enough that it feels comfortable. And then take the hips and keep them rotating straight ahead. Bend that front knee, right knee, and squeeze the inner thighs. From this position, just start leaning a little to each side. Hands can slide down either leg to support you. And when you feel ready, you can hold one of these two places. Inhaling the opposite arm up and reaching tall. Remember to take deep breaths here and feel what's happening in your body. Feel if there's resistance of your mind to this work or this stretch. Feel if there's some place in you that is exploding with some thought or emotion, and give it all your attention. Come back up. Let's come into the next position, sliding your hand down the leg. Your elbow could even rest here. You can come to this T position, or arm can reach over, resting your bicep right by your ear. Again, press into the outer blades of the feet, squeeze the inner thighs, grow long, full side of the body, reaching to one angle, lateral angle. You can bring that arm back down, and you can start testing out what it feels like to straighten that front leg. Your elbow could stay there, your hand could come up to rest on your knee, or you could reach for a block, set it down beside your leg, and support yourself there. So a few more tests of straightening that front leg, and then we'll hold triangle. Lengthen both sides of your torso, try and grow long. Notice if you're rounding over. Legs straight, torso straight, and now add the arms straight. Good. Nice deep breath. Squeeze the inner thighs. Feel the strength in the lower body, helping to open the upper body. Bend that front knee and pull yourself back up through your warrior two position here. Look forward and back to see that your arms are right at shoulder height. Square your hips back to the center if they've turned. And then straighten your leg, turn your toes forward, and heel toe, back together. One more shake, everything out. A little twist side to side, letting your arms be soft like empty coat sleeves, letting your knees be soft and bend so the twist isn't aggravating the knee joint. It's moving up into the spine, waist, shoulders, neck. Then we're going to do a little balancing in standing position. And we're going to be using a wall towards the end of that. So if you can be near a wall for that whole series, it will be helpful. So I'm going to be facing my wall here. And I'm going to shift my weight onto the left foot, and I'm going to bring my right toes up. I'm going to lift the knee in front of me. And I'm going to try and slide it out to the side, so into my tree posture. You can set the foot down below the knee, or you can tuck it in above the knee. You just don't want to put pressure right on the knee joint itself. Try and steady yourself here by squeezing thigh into inner thigh into the sole of the foot, growing tall through the spine. You can float your arms up to a wide V, or palms can press together over the head or in front of the heart center. Or even you can try arms behind your back, interlacing, elbow to hand, or palms can press together in a reverse prayer position. If you do this, then press the elbows back like you're pressing your knee back. Release the hands. Bring that knee straight in front of you now and hold on to it and try and straighten the leg out. If you can straighten the leg out here, then rest it on the wall and try and grow tall through your standing leg. Take a few breaths here and choose to stay here, or you can start to hinge forward. Try and reach out for that leg and pull your torso longer. Don't forget to reach tall through that standing leg. It's doing a lot of work here. Good, and then bend the knee one more time. Pull it into the chest. Try and do wind relieving in your standing posture, and then release the leg down. Let's shake that out. And do that on the other side. So here I'm not going to have a wall in front of me. I'm going to ground down through my right foot, lift up onto my left toes. And when I feel steady, I'll lift my foot up in front of me and then turn it gently out to the side. Once I do, I'll choose my foot position, either resting the sole of my foot on my lower calf or on my upper thigh, pressing thigh into foot so there's a strong squeeze of the inner thighs, and then floating the arms up wide like tree limbs, foot grounding down, arms reaching up, or palms together over the crown of the head, or palms together right in the heart center, or hands behind the back, interlacing elbow to hand, or palms can press together in this reverse prayer position and elbows press wide out to the side. You can just choose one of those. You don't have to go between them. And as you build your steadiness, you can practice different variations. Release the arms. Bring the knee back in front of you. You can clasp onto the back of the leg and then begin to straighten the knee. Lifting that foot straight up in front of you. Keep growing tall through your standing leg. Keep that leg extended. And if you feel like you can, rest the foot on the wall and then walk the hands forward and try and stretch out over this leg. Take some deep breaths and grow long through the spine. Feel the back of the body, the hamstring stretching while the other leg is working. Bend the knee, bring the knee in towards the chest for your standing wind relieving posture, and then leg back down to the floor. Give a nice thorough shake out. Maybe even bounce around a little bit. Whew. Good work. All right, we're going to take that into a standing position and fold forward on the floor, and then move to the floor. So let's have our blocks. This is for Stargazer. Place them in the front of the mat and then take a step back. We've prepared the legs really nicely right now. So you're going to take one big step forward, straight legs. Try not to lock the knees, but hold the legs strong and steady. Hips squared forward to the front of your yoga mat. We're going to hinge forward, reach down the thighs, and reach to our blocks. We're going to try to reach to our blocks with straight legs. If you can steady yourself here, then we're going to try a little bit of a twist. So reach your left hand over to the right side block, and arm can come out to a T position, or it can come around to the back. And we're going to twist here. Good. And we're going to try the other side. So both hands on your blocks, then take your right hand over to your left block and twist out to the side here. You can turn your back heel a little bit more and you'll visit that triangle posture you were just in. Good. Now from here, we're going to round out over the leg, letting the torso lengthen. Keep pulling the knees up so the hamstring is getting the signal that it's time to stretch. The muscle above your knee, the quadricep, has to be engaged for that to happen. Deep stretch here. Full deep breaths. Bend that front knee. We're going to come out of it by going into our flying warrior, and then we're going to step the back foot forward to meet the front. Hands behind the back, interlace the fingers. Let's do a little shoulder circling. And then we're going to fold forward into Yoga Mudra. So pressing the arms back behind you, away from the back, hinging forward. As you come down, let the neck relax, and press the arms overhead as your belly comes towards your thighs. Imagine you're emptying out the contents of your mind here, letting it all drain back to the earth, all those worries or concerns, anything you don't need. And then pull yourself back up to standing, but come through a seated posture. So Utkatasana, that awkward chair pose. And then all the way up to standing. Inhale the arms up and back down. We're going to do that on the other side. So blocks are going to be the front of your mat. You're going to step to the back. Take one big step forward with your left foot now as your front foot. Both legs are going to be straight. Quadriceps lifting up, inner thighs squeezing to square the hips. Hinge forward. Reach for your blocks. Pause here and just lengthen the spine. We're going to try our twist. So reaching your left hand over to the right hand over to the left block. Come out to the side. Arm almost like a wing, or reach it up overhead if you can. And both hands back to the block. Steady yourself. Left hand comes to the right block now. You're going to lift your arm out to a T position. Turn your back heel out a little bit. Toes reach out to the side and come right through that triangle we were just in. And then back down. Good. And now we're going to go for our lengthen and stretch. So relax the torso over the leg. Keep the quadriceps pulling up. Inner thighs squeezing. Feel that deep stretch through the back of the body. The hamstring, the calf, rounding over the low back, going up the spine, even through the neck. Lifting up to your flat back. Bend that front knee. Float your arms up, out to the side. This inclined warrior, and step the back foot gracefully up to meet the front. Arms go overhead and release. Shake it out. We're going to come back down to the floor. Good. On the floor, we're going to come back to a hip stretch and then a shoulder stretch to complete our practice. So move your blocks out of the way. Grab your strap if you have it. You can lie down flat on the floor or with a pillow underneath your head, whatever feels more comfortable to you. We're going to take this strap and we're going to put it around the soles of the feet. So you can do one at a time if you want. We're going to try out happy baby posture here. We're going to work our way into it. So start by letting your hands slide out to the edge of your strap and let your feet also slide out into a wide V. When you come into this position, your tailbone might lift up, press it back down to the floor. Stretching the inner thighs here. Rock a little side to side. And then we're going to try and bend the knees and let the feet come up towards the ceiling. They're going to slide along that strap. We're going to use the strap to pull our knees towards our elbows, like you're trying to bring your knee right into your armpit, or that space from elbow to armpit. Good. Soles of the feet are pointing right up at the ceiling. You could also grab onto the back of the legs if the strap feels like too much work, or if you have the flexibility, the hands could reach up and grab onto the soles of the feet. And take nice deep breaths. Feel the back broadening out onto the floor. If you want, rock a little side to side. As you rock side to side, you might find that you can pull one knee a little closer to you and then the other. And try to remember that childlike place inside of us without judgment, without criticism, just seeing the world clearly. And seeing how much fun it can be to be in a body, how playful it can be. Imagine that those toes could still reach to your mouth. Bring the soles of the feet together. Let them touch if they can. You can clasp onto the shins, the ankles, or the outsides of the feet. And then press the feet away from you like you're trying to butterfly your knees out to the side. Feel that stretch through your shoulders and neck area. And then do the opposite, relax the legs, pull with the strength of the arms, try and bring the feet in towards the groin area. We're going to release, slowly bring the soles of the feet back to the floor. We're going to roll over onto one side. So for the next position, you're going to need to follow my guidance. So you might want to bring a pillow to the top of your mat. Your left arm is going to go out to a T position, and you're going to lay right down onto your left side. So the legs can either both stay bent, or the top leg can straighten out. From here, you're going to slowly press into that right hand to kind of turn yourself onto your side, and you'll find a place where that right shoulder is getting a stretch. It's getting enough stretch that you go, oh, I think that's my edge. And if you can't find your edge, then bend that top knee and place the sole of the foot on the floor behind your other leg. You could even straighten that leg out if you want. And then use that knee rocking as a little bit more leverage to take you in and out of the stretch. We're looking for that place where your shoulder is finding the perfect amount of stretch without pushing over into pain, without backing away from sensation. Notice if your body wants to say, that's too much whenever you feel sensation. And if it is, take a deep breath and see if you can expand the space inside yourself that you can be comfortable. Can you feel discomfort and still be present? Can you feel discomfort and breathe? And if you can, then watch and see what happens when you're willing to tolerate that sensation. Maybe there's a little magic or change that will happen. If you want, you can even extend that right arm up to the ceiling, flex your fingers back, and reach it back as if it could reach for the floor, or the wall behind you. You could even circle the shoulder, see how moving the top arm changes the stretch for the lower shoulder. Make sure you're not pushing past into any pain. And then we're going to come out of this. So right hand comes back to the floor. If you've lifted your knee, bring it down to rest on top of the other one. And then slide your hands in and just press yourself up. We're going to do that on the other side. I'm going to switch sides so I can stay facing the camera. You can just roll it right over onto your other side. So as you come down onto your side, now your right arm is going behind you, palm facing down, so the front of the shoulder is open. And you want a pillow that fills that space right here between shoulder and ear, so you can relax your neck. From here, you can straighten out the top leg and stay right here. Or you can bend that knee, lift it towards the ceiling and place the sole of the foot on the floor behind the other leg. Or you can straighten out the bottom leg. That's your right leg now. From here, you can play around with this stretch by rocking your knee, coming in and out of the intensity of your edge. If you can't find your edge on this side, then you might need to lift the arm to help get into it a little deeper. Circle the arm. Really feel what that does in the opposite shoulder as you move. Find that place that gets the maximum amount of sensation that you can tolerate, and then breathe deeply into it and watch and see if you can allow it to change. That's the magic of yoga. What we thought was impossible slowly becomes possible with practice. Hand comes back to the floor. Knee, if you've lifted it, drops down onto the other. You can slowly press yourself up to seated, or you can just roll right over onto your back. We're going to end here in Shavasana. So take a moment to settle down into the floor. You could even stack the blocks in a T position and lie your cushion across the top if you want to start in the same position that we end in the same position that we started in. And we're going to end with some gentle buzzing sounds. This is the beginning of a practice called Bhramari, and it's just learning to create the buzz. So in this practice, you'll bring the tip of the tongue to the roof of the mouth. It could be in front near the teeth or farther back near the soft palate. You're going to make a gentle humming sound. It sounds a little like a bumblebee buzzing. Bring the teeth to just slightly touch, and that takes that vibration and buzzing right into the teeth, the jaw, and into the sinuses. The tongue directs it up into the skull, so we can vibrate all the way from here in the upper body and throat, all the way up through the top of the head. It's great for clearing the mind. It's great for clearing the channels. It's like a massage from the inside out. Well, let's try it out as you relax and begin your Shavasana. Deep breath in. And buzz. Two more breaths of buzzing. And final one, notice how long you can make that sound. Feel the echoes of that buzzing in your body. And settle down into the ground for your Shavasana. Make yourself really comfortable and take the next 5 to 10 minutes just to digest the deep stretching practice that we did today. Opening the shoulders and the legs, the hamstrings and the low back, the hips, and hopefully your mind. Namaste.